Welcome to Money in the Bank 2025 predictions. This is my, well, I say weekly or monthly prediction series. It's basically whenever there is a pay-per-view, I'm going to predict it. Wow, I look bald. Whatever. All right, whatever. I look bald. Sure. But I'm going to go through each match on the card and predict the winner and give you my reason as to why. I have done this for every single pay-per-view since the Royal Rumble last year. And why stop now? All right. Money in the Bank is one of the best shows of the year. So let's predict it. You never know what can happen. It's very unpredictable, especially with how Triple H has been booking this year. It's going to be an unpredictable one. In saying that, I have no idea who I'm going to pick for the two Money in the Bank matches. No clue. All right. Last year, you could maybe argue, well, the men's one you definitely couldn't predict, but the women's one you could. You know, it was always going to be Tiffany Stratton. I couldn't think of anyone else. Maybe Io would have won, but I genuinely have no idea for these matches, which sucks because I'm starting off with the order of how I would do this show with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match between LA Knight, Penta, Solo Sikoa, Andrade, Seth Rollins, and El Grande Americano. One thing I love about this is the fact that El Grande's in this match and Chad Gable is at Worlds Collide. I don't know. It's just funny to me. I don't know. You know, you're meant to have El Grande who's meant to be this luchador wrestler. Maybe it's a bit disrespectful if it's El Grande at at Worlds Collide with AAA wrestlers. Nonetheless, I don't know who to pick. For me, it's between three wrestlers. It's not Penta, because Penta and Rey Fenix are going to do something in probably the next coming months leading up to SummerSlam, maybe. Andrade was a surprise win, just in general. So I don't think he will go back-to-back surprise wins. I'm really surprised he's not at Worlds Collide, but he's here on this show. But fair enough. Maybe that's why, because they couldn't fit him onto that show. It's all like, you know, let's put him Money in the Bank. So at least he's here in this weekend. El Grande is just not winning it. Like, if he wins it, they've gone too far with El Grande Americano. But at the same time, I don't know. I think it would be a funny story if Chad Gable goes to cash in, but it's El Grande's contract, not Chad Gable's. And then that's a whole thing. And then basically Chad Gable has to reveal himself as El Grande. If it is El Grande, we don't know if it is. So the three on between is LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and Seth Rollins. LA Knight is because if they're not going to do it this year, they're never going to do it. They're never going to pull the trigger on LA Knight to become a world champion, and people just have to forget about it because that world title picture right now is just so hotly contested. It won't be any room for LA Knight. He'll be forever the mid-carder. Solo is because, I don't know, to try and cause a rift between him and Jacob or something. I don't know. And then Seth Rollins is, I mean, if you can't tell why, it's just Seth Rollins in Money in the Bank. But at the same time, Seth Rollins could be screwed by Punk, by Sammy, by even Jay. But at the same time, then Jay's in the main event. So I don't know. It's difficult. It is difficult. I am leaning towards Seth, and I'm doing this all on video. Like I haven't got who I want to win, but I just got to try and figure it out now. So LA Knight, he could cash in on Cena. Yeah, it's not going to be LA Knight, unfortunately. Solo could cash in on Jay. I absolutely could see that. But Seth cashing in on Jay makes so much more sense. Taking the title, he can just harass Jay for the next coming months. Just always in his face, like, I've got this, remember me, I've got this. Seth can then go on and verse CM Punk, go on and verse Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, and still have that thing where wherever he wants, just cash it in. You're world champion, Seth. We know what's coming. I'm going with Seth Rollins. I've just talked myself into it, and it makes too much sense for it not to be Seth Rollins. He's just going to become world champion again, which is great. I've just bumped the mic, but at the same time, I don't care. He's going to become world champion again. We all know it. It's just a matter of when, and I think it's the perfect way to do it. Just even though, yeah, sure, Money in the Bank's meant to be for the next generation stepping up. If that was the case, you would have had Carmelo Hayes beat Andrade, you know, but whatever. Screw Carmelo Hayes, I guess. Next match is Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental Championship. Could this be back-to-back Lyra wins? It absolutely could. In my last predictions, I did predict Lyra to win the first one and then Becky to win the second and the third, which is what I'm going to stick with. It's going to be Becky Lynch. There's just no question about it. Becky wins, becomes the second ever Intercontinental Champion, Women's Intercontinental Champion, and maybe she joins Seth's faction. Maybe Seth's the reason she wins. He wins Money in the Bank, and then after she wins the IC title, and then he goes and wins the world title. I don't mind it. At the same time, Becky can just do it on her own. And then maybe after the match, you have Bayley come back. Maybe Becky wins and then still takes out Lyra. Bayley can come back and you can have the little Becky story. Or even Bayley turns on Lyra and sides with Becky. I don't know, something like that. But Becky to win the title. And now I think it is the most hardest prediction to predict so far this year. It is the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match between Rhea Ripley, Julia, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, and Stephanie Vaquer. It's absolutely beautiful seeing Julia, Roxanne, and Stephanie all in this match because I love NXT. Shout out to Mariah May as well. Fucking hell. I can see all but one person winning. The one person I don't see winning this is Rhea Ripley because she doesn't need it. Rhea could just tomorrow turn around and just be like, hey, Io, we're having a match for the World Championship, and you cannot say otherwise. And it would just happen. But at the same time, I think Rhea's staying away from the world title for maybe until Mania season or even after it. I think she's going to be just out of that world title picture for the rest of the year. Because I have her then going after Becky and maybe having a match with Becky at Crown Jewel in Perth where she will win the title. That's my prediction for that, by the way, if you're wondering. That's what I just don't think it's Rhea. The other 5, barring maybe Alexa Bliss, you could absolutely make a reason for it. Alexa's going to be a no just because she hasn't really done much on TV since she's come back, so I wouldn't really just throw it on her. Plus, she's got this but the storyline with Charlotte going on right now where they might be friends and then Alexa might turn heel and they'll start like the OGs versus the rookies sort of thing. So yeah, I don't think it'll be Alexa. Then it leaves the other 4, Julia, Naomi, Roxanne, and Stephanie. You could absolutely make a reason for all of these. But I'm gonna lower it down by 1, and I don't think it's gonna be Julia. I think it's too early for Julia. Granted, Stephanie's only literally been on Raw for a week, but I think it's too early for Julia. I don't think she's over enough to just win Money in the Bank. I feel like her and Tiffany can have a great match, or maybe they swap the champions and Tiffany comes to Raw and Io goes to SmackDown and then Julia can dethrone Io. Then I just don't, I think maybe Julia is the one that dethrones Zelina Vega for the Women's United States Championship. I just don't think it's her time. She will probably win Women's Money in the Bank one day, maybe in 2 years, or maybe even next year. I don't think it'll be her this year because I think the other 3 in Naomi, Roxanne, and Stephanie all have better reasons. Let's go through those reasons. Stephanie, she's over as fuck. That's about it. She's very, very over at the moment. She debuted, well, technically not really a debut last week because she already had the match against Io, the Raw after Mania, and then the week after she had another match. But her official Raw debut, signed, she won the triple threat, and good on her for starters. And she was over during that whole match, but I don't think it's going to be her. I'm going to take her off the list. Stephanie could literally, as I said with Rhea, just turn around tomorrow and just say, oh, Io, let's go have a match of the night, match of the year candidate in the main event of, not main event of Evolution, but Evolution, and no one's going to turn a blind eye to it. And then it leaves Roxanne and Naomi. Both women, I absolutely, they are my 2 favorites to win the match. I would love for it to be Roxanne. I love Roxanne. And the storyline that she would have going on then with the Judgment Day and then Liv and Raquel and she's got Money in the Bank, it would make for a good story. And then they can help her cash in on Liv and Judgment Day as one big cohorted unit until then Finn only used Liv and Raquel to get Roxanne the world title to then kick them out. And then Finn wins the IC title off Dom. And then you got those 3 as a babyface trio and then you got those 2. Those guys, or you just disband the Judgment Day. And then Naomi is on the run of a lifetime at the moment with her heel gimmick. Proceed with caution. She would have that over Jade, and then what you can do is then Naomi then cashes in on Tiffany, who then Jade beats at WrestleMania. It writes itself, right? But if Naomi wants to cash in, it wouldn't be until around Rumble season, I don't think. Have Tiffany look strong, maybe in a match against Jade. Aha! I've got it. Somewhere towards the end of the year, maybe Survivor Series, maybe just before it. It is Tiffany versus Jade, maybe in the main event of the show. Probably not the main event, but Tiffany versus Jade. Naomi cashes in to make it a triple threat where then she pins Jade, keeping Tiffany looking strong, but at the same time, she gets one over on Jade again. And then that can be Jay's motivation to WrestleMania where she'll win the title. You could even have Naomi cash in on Io. You could. There is a story there. What's the story? Yeah, I don't know. There's really no story except for the fact that Io is really over and Naomi is really hated. That's the story. But you could make one. You could absolutely make one there. My pick for the women's Money in the Bank is Naomi. She deserves it. And I think it's finally her time to win back a world championship. She'll cash in on Tiffany. And then she'll lose to Jade Cargill down the line. And in the main event, we have Logan Paul and the WWE Champion John Cena versus Cody Rhodes and the World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso. I think this was originally meant to be John Cena and Travis Scott, but they've just said, yeah, you know what, let's just, yeah, you know what, Logan Paul, fuck it, Logan Paul. I actually do have Logan Paul and John Cena winning. And I think that is because of Seth Rollins' interference. I think Rollins screws over, maybe Cody gets taken out of the match early, but maybe it's by Travis Scott again. Maybe it is. But Cody gets taken out of the match, not early, but, you know, before the finish. Jay has Cena down. Logan Paul's out of the match by this point. As he goes to hit a splash, Cena gets distracted by the ref. Braun pushes him off the rope. Logan Paul hits him with that one lucky punch, maybe with brass knuckles. Cena then AA pin 1, 2, 3. They win. Do you then have Seth cash in? I don't think so. I think you have him tease it, but I don't even think it's a thing of like people come to then fight him off. I mean, yeah, you could have Punk and Sammy then come and fight him off, but I don't know. They'll definitely tease it because both world champions are in this match. So I don't know. That's if Seth's the champion. I mean, either way, even if whoever wins men's Money in the Bank, they're going to tease it in this match. Like they're going to. But I do have Logan Paul and John Cena winning. John Cena, not to say needs a victory, but he's here to ruin wrestling. That would ruin wrestling. And that's it. Let me know your predictions in the comments. Shorter card, but I think I still ended up talking for about fucking 15 minutes. So is what it is. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. See you guys all in the next one. Bye for now.